This is a story called The Kids Who Met After Being Diagnosed with Terminal Cancer. Aliyah is 7 years old and she's not been feeling well for quite some time. Her parents have had her back and forth to the doctors and she's been on all kinds of medication, but nothing's worked. The doctor decides that enough is enough and decides to refer her to the hospital for a test. However, just hours after seeing the doctor, she collapsed at home and she was rolling on the floor, screaming, crying and clutching her stomach in agony. Her parents called an ambulance and she was rushed to hospital. When they arrived, she was seen by a doctor straight away. The doctor checked her over and her stomach was really swollen. He gave her some strong pain relief, did tests and transferred her to a children's ward. By this time it was 10 p.m. and little Aliyah was exhausted and she fell asleep. The next day the test results were back and the doctor said to Aliyah's parents, "I'm sorry, but Aliyah has stage 4 stomach cancer. Unfortunately, it has spread to her internal organs, but we will give her chemotherapy." Aliyah's parents broke down in tears and she said to them, "Mummy, Daddy, please don't cry. I'm not crying, and if I can be brave, so can you. Oh, Aliyah, darling, do you understand what the doctor said and what's going to happen?" "Yes, Mummy. Who knows, maybe the doctors can make me all better, maybe they can. If you remember, a little boy in my class called Ryan had cancer and the doctors made him all better and now he doesn't have cancer anymore." "Oh, Aliyah, you're such a big brave girl and we're so proud of you." "Thanks, Daddy. I'm braver than you are. Look at you both, you're a mess." They all laughed and then the doctor came in and said, "Aliyah, we'll be taking you down for your first round of chemo tomorrow. In the meantime, you can go and play in the playroom, which is down the corridor if you want." Aliyah and her parents went down to the playroom. When they got there, there was 5 other kids in there who were playing together and Aliyah went over and said, "Please can I play with you?" "Yes, of course you can. My name's Lucas and this is Addison, Ashley, Matty and Jadine. What's your name?" "My name's Aliyah. Thank you for letting me play with you." "You're welcome. When do you have your first round of chemo or radiotherapy?" "How did you know I had cancer, Jadine?" "Are you staying on the ward down there? Every kid on that ward has cancer." "Yes, I am, but I didn't know that every kid on there had cancer. I have my first chemo tomorrow morning." "Are you scared?" "Yes, I'm scared a bit." "Were you scared, Ashley, when you had your first chemo?" "Yeah, I think everyone is. I cried the first few times, but now I'm used to it." "Does it hurt?" "No, it only hurts when the needles for the drip are put in your arm. I hate that part, but you get used to it." "Thanks, Addison. I'm trying to be brave, but I am scared." "There's nothing wrong with being scared, Aliyah. Everyone gets scared, sometimes even grown-ups." "I know, Matty. My parents are more scared than I am." They all laughed and then played for a while. Afterwards, they all went back to the ward for their tea. After tea, they all went into the day room and watched The Greatest Showman DVD. The next morning, Aliyah went down for her first session of chemo and her parents went with her. She cried a bit, but then she just took it in her stride. She was sick for a couple of days, but as soon as she was well enough, she was allowed to go home. She was also allowed to go back to school, but only part-time. 2 weeks later, she went back to the hospital for her second session of chemo. Again, she was poorly for a couple of days, but she was happy to see her new friends again, and they were just as happy to see her. They'd already swapped numbers and FaceTimed each other a few times. One day, Elias said to her parents, "Mummy, Daddy, you know how my hair's going to fall out? Well, I want to shave it all off to raise money for charity. Are you sure, darling? You have such beautiful hair." Elia had beautiful, very long, jet black hair. She really wanted to do this for other kids with cancer, so her parents allowed her to. However, when her friends and family found out, some of them shaved their heads too. Altogether, they managed to raise £20,000. Elia couldn't believe how kind people had been. Her next round of chemo was on her 8th birthday, but she didn't let it spoil her day. She was very happy to see her new friends. Unfortunately, Matty wasn't there as he was sick. Elia's mum said to her, "Elia, when you're all better, we'll do something special for your birthday. What would you like to do?" "I'd like to have a party with my new friends there. I'd like to go to Disney World in Florida and meet all the Disney characters, ride all the roller coasters, and swim with dolphins. We'll see what we can do, darling. But we need to get you completely better first. But we can go though, can't we, Daddy?" "We'll see, darling, we'll see." A few days later, Elia started feeling sick and she was constantly out of breath. The doctors did tests and unfortunately the cancer had spread to her lungs. The doctor told her that she'd need stronger chemo and a double lung transplant. She was put on oxygen and a few days later she started a new course of chemo. The chemo made her really sick, so the doctors sedated her to help with her recovery. When she came round, she just wanted to go and play with her new friends who were in the playroom. Unfortunately, she wasn't quite well enough, so the doctors got them to come to her. A few days later, she was well enough to go home. All her new friends had already gone home, but they kept in touch almost daily. When she went to her next chemo session, Lucas and Ashley were there as they were having their chemo on the same day at the same time. This was Elia's second round of this new chemo, and thankfully she wasn't as sick as she was the first time around, and she was able to go home the next day. However, a few days after she went home, both her lungs collapsed and she was rushed to hospital again. The doctors operated on her and managed to reinflate her lungs. They kept her in hospital for a week, and after that she was able to go home. When she went to school, she had to go in a wheelchair. At her next chemo appointment, the doctors did tests to see if it was working. Unfortunately, it wasn't, so the doctors said that they would give her stronger chemo. They said that even with the chemo, she'd only have approximately 6 months to a year to live. As you can imagine, all her family and friends were absolutely devastated. However, Elia was a fighter, and she vowed to overcome her illness and to prove the doctors wrong. She kept fighting with all her might, and after 18 months she was told by the doctor that she was by some miracle cancer-free. However, she still wasn't completely better as she needed a double lung transplant. She was kept on oxygen, and about 2 months after being told that she was cancer-free, she finally got the news that a set of lungs that were compatible with her blood type had become available. She went into hospital and had the operation, and of course she had to stay in for a while. And 2 weeks later she was allowed to go home. She no longer needed her oxygen, and with the help of her anti-rejection meds, she was able to go back to living life to the full. All her friends that she met in hospital had also made a full recovery from their cancer. They all kept in touch, and the cancer charity paid for them all to go to Disney World in Florida. They all stayed there for 3 weeks, and they all had an absolute blast. They went on every roller coaster, met all the Disney characters, and swam with dolphins. They'd made memories that will stay with them forever. They all went back to school and did really well. Alaya decided that she wanted to be a children's doctor when she grew up. Lucas and Jadine wanted to be school teachers. Matty wanted to be a firefighter. Ashley wanted to be a nursery teacher, and Addison wanted to be a children's nurse. The end. Hope you like it, guys. Remember, if you're watching on YouTube, please feel free to like, share, comment, and subscribe. If you're watching on Facebook, please feel free to like, share, comment, and to go to my YouTube channel and subscribe. Take care of yourselves, peeps. Love yous. Bye.